Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, Shrove Tuesday, no less, Pancake Day, which I fully intend to partake in later on this afternoon. A quick public service announcement. It is, of course, essential when partaking in pancakes that the pancakes are thin, and they should be served with sugar and lemon only. No chocolate. Chocolate, as we all know, belongs on chocolate cake, heavily iced, but never on pancakes. So I'm sure you all knew that already. That's a knowledge bomb from Cracking the Cryptic. I could squeeze my lemon till my blues went away if I had possession over Pancake Day. To quote Half Man, Half Biscuit in a quite surreal introduction to this video. If you're new to the channel, you must be thinking, who is this lunatic? No, I'm mostly not a lunatic. I do try, or the idea of the channel is that we try and indulge in logic and rationality, and provide a welcome oasis on this internet from the madness that lives outside this channel. And I'm going to be trying to solve a puzzle for you called The Mysterious Loop by Die Hard. And I just did a Die Hard puzzle on the channel the other day, but I don't think it was a Sudoku. Anyway, it's precipitated an email which has intrigued me. From somebody who says that this puzzle has not been solved very much, but is apparently sort of puzzle of the year material. Apparently this is a masterpiece. I've read the rules, and the rules are interesting. And look how many given digits I get. I get 13 given digits in this puzzle, which is a complete, well, it's a plethora compared to how many I normally get. I normally get none. And normally, therefore, I find if I do get given digits, I tend to ignore them, because I'm so used to getting sort of digits in blue. I try to pay attention to the blue digits, but the black digits, for some reason, my brain has learned that black digits should just be ignored because they're irrelevant, but presumably not in this puzzle. And I'll read you the rules of The Mysterious Loop in a moment or two's time. I think this is hard, by the way. I think that's what the email said. It's a very difficult puzzle, so it might be a long video. If it is, well, I just hope it becomes a video, and I apologise for taking too much of your time, especially on Shrove Tuesday. Anyway, what else can I tell you about? First things first, over on Patreon, we have this brand new Sudoku hunt going gangbusters. It's Blobz' Nurikabi themed puzzle pack here. And this was the state of play as of yesterday. So 1,200 people had done the first puzzle, and 179 had solved all of the puzzles. So let's reload. It's going up massively. 284. Another 200 have done the first puzzle. Absolutely brilliant work, everybody. Especially those of you who've managed to solve the whole thing. You've still got ages as well. The closing date's the 20th of March, so do get involved, do have a go. Blobz is a wonderful, wonderful constructor. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'll be familiar that last year Blobz did the Lord of the Rings Sudoku hunt, then the Hobbit Sudoku hunt, both incredibly popular. This one, the comments we're getting so far, is exactly in line. Well, the comments are exactly in line with what we've had before when we've done Blobz' Sudoku hunts. They are superb, so do give yourselves a treat and have a go at that hunt. Now, other news. Let me look. I have got to say happy birthday to Eric. Your girlfriend Moa over there in Sweden wrote to us and said that you might appreciate a shout out. You always watch the videos with a small smile on your face, and I hope today's chocolate cake is good, Eric. I think chocolate cake is on the menu. I don't know, should I wish everyone pancakes today? I'm not sure. Anyway, Eric, I hope you have a great birthday. That's the main point, isn't it? Now, somebody whose birthday it isn't, but it might be a name day being celebrated with chocolate cake with cherries on top, I believe, is Dwarvin. And Dwarvin sent a picture of their cross-stitching. I've got to show you this because I was so impressed with it. So apparently cross-stitching is sort of a hobby of Dwarvin's. And this is actually a cross-stitch of the moment that I discovered the break into an Ard van der Wetering puzzle. I remember this puzzle. It was an astonishing puzzle. I hope this isn't a spoiler. I've never done a spoiler in cross-stitch before, but isn't that spectacular? I think some of you will remember this puzzle. I can't remember what the video was called. The Unbelievable Sudoku or something. Anyway, Dwarven, thank you very much for sending that in. Apparently, you find the channel helps with calming, and good luck with the name day. I hope the cake is good. And then finally, a shout out for Jake from your partner Rochelle. The two of you have ADHD, and you find the videos calming as well. So the videos, well, I suppose the videos are designed a bit to be calming. They're designed to be, as I said before, sort of somewhere where we can find a little bit of calm for our minds, because everything on this channel ought to be logical, except if I make mistakes, which does happen. Anyway, Jake, I hope the shout out does you well, and I hope you have pancakes and cake today. And with that said and done, let's have a look at the Mysterious Loop by Die Hard. These are the rules of the puzzle. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply. And then it goes right. Okay, so that means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Then we've got to draw a closed loop that moves orthogonally or diagonally between the centres of no more than 23 cells. The loop passes through all boxes except box 5, the shaded box. So the loop doesn't go there. It goes through all the others. The digit 1 appears on the loop once. The digit in the circle appears on the loop twice. And every other digit n that appears anywhere on the loop appears on the loop n times. So if the digit 5 appeared on the loop anywhere, oh, well, I suppose it depends whether it's in the middle. Yeah, okay, let's say the 5 is not in the middle. Let's put 9 in the middle, and let's say that there is a 5. Let's draw a loop. So there's a loop. Let's say this is the loop, and that square is a 5, which is a safe digit because I can't see any 5s. Is 5 the only digit we haven't been given? 6. No, we haven't been given a 7 either. Anyway, so if this was a 5, that would mean that we have to put 5 5s on the loop. And if it was a 7, we'd have to put 7 7s on the loop. And if it was a 4, we'd have to put 4 4s on the loop, etc. Now, there's one more rule. No, there's not. There's 2 more rules. Okay, adjacent digits on the loop are different. Which in my loop, oh yes, because the loop can go diagonally. I was going to say in my loop they'd always have to be different, but let's say, oh, okay, yeah, this is going to be confusing, isn't it? So let's move the loop up there. That means these 2 digits couldn't be the same digit. They are consecutive on the loop, but they couldn't be the same digit. And box borders divide the loop into regions of equal sums. So whatever we came up with, if this was what we came up with as the actual loop, then what we're saying is that these squares here, these blue ones, let's make those orange. We add these 3 blue, they add up to the same as those orange, they add up to the same as those green, which add up to the same as these yellow, which add up to the same as these red, etc. So you look at where the 3x3 box borders divide the loop, and every segment, if you like, has to have the same sum. But we don't have doublers or anything today. I think it's just normal. So they are the rules. Let me get rid of my hypothesized loop, and let's have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So I can hear Maverick has just taken off from the local airfield, so we're about to get buzzed by a low-flying aircraft. I apologise about that. How do we start this puzzle? We've got to draw a loop. that goes through no more than 23 cells. What's the minimum size of a loop? It's got to go into every box, so it could be the Fistmafell ring. That would be funny, wouldn't it, if it was just those? No, it couldn't. It couldn't be that small because the 8 would be a problem. Because what I'm seeing is that segment there would have a sum of at least 11 if we put a 2 there and a 1 there. And that cell can't be an 11, so this is not the right loop. But okay, but I know that the Fistmafell ring has 16 cells, which yes it does. So that blue loop I've drawn has 16 cells. That's not big enough. Oh no, well it could be big enough. No, because what we've got here is a cap on the loop, not a floor. So no more than 23 cells. So we could have had that as a loop if that segment hadn't prevented it. So how am I meant to do this then? Hang on. I haven't got my head around this at all yet. I read the rule. I do this sometimes. I read the rules and I don't really. I'm trying to explain the rules as I go, but I'm not really taking them in. My brain is not actually thinking through the implications of the rules. No more than 23 cells. So, okay, so the loop goes into every box. Right, so the digits on the loop overall are divisible by 8, I want to say. Because if the loop is visiting... Oh, I'm about to sneeze, don't sneeze. I think it's just coming in to sort of hay fever, because we've had some nice days here in the UK, and you can almost feel like spring is knocking on the door. Okay, so what I was going to say is, because the loop goes through 8 boxes, I mean, can it go through more? There's no requirement that the loop... Hang on, let me just go to the line drawing tool. I'm wondering whether we could have sort of it doing this sort of thing. Oh, it can go diagonally. Oh gosh, this is going to be confusing, isn't it? So, okay, well, why couldn't it do that? That. Oh, I was trying to make it miss the 8. It's got to go into box 3 somewhere. So let's say there. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just going to draw a loop. There's a loop. If that's the loop that we draw... Yeah, okay, I've remembered what I was thinking about. What I was wondering is whether it's possible for the loop to re-enter a box, so to speak. And I think that the answer is going to be yes, in which case my assertion that the digits on the loop are divisible by 8 is total nonsense, isn't it? Because I haven't got 8 segments on the line now. I've got an extra segment because I've got 2 segments in box 4, and I could have 2 segments in any other box by fiddling about with the loop. So that's just that's just terrified me, actually. So I can't even assume I know. Actually, this puzzle is much harder than I'd realised. I thought at least I'd be able to do something. The loop passes through all the boxes. The digit 1 appears on the digit 1 appears on the loop once. So but then we've got this funny business about whatever we put in the middle of the grid. That's on the loop twice, and then any other digit, which presumably, so not 1 and not what we put in the middle, is on the grid the exact number of times, in the grid or on the loop, the exact number of times that the size of the digit dictates. So if that can't be 6, if that's 5, there are 5. No, this digit is the one that sort of doesn't count for the loop. But we could only have 2 2s on the loop as a maximum. Yes, that must be right. Oh, because I was going to say, even if 2's in the middle, it can only be on the loop twice. But 2 can't actually be in the middle, because there's a 2 here. So not only is there only one 1 on the loop, there is only a maximum of 2 2's on the loop. And that's interesting, because that means the size of the region sum is at least 12, I think. Because, I mean, what I have established so far is I haven't got a Scooby-Doo how this loop moves. But what I do know is it has to traverse... I've got to get it from box 1 to box 3 somehow. Or do I? Maybe I don't. Because now I've got a horrible thought. Could the loop do this? That might make it too big. Oh, it's much too big, isn't it? Actually, that's much too big. Yeah, that's much too big. Because I've only got 23 cells to play with. So, I mean, it's almost got 16 already just round the middle ring. So once we add another 8 and 7, it's way. It's not even close. Okay, so we can't do that. All right. So my concern was, okay, I could create a closed loop that visits every box. Yeah, and could I do it like this? And the answer is no. And so my first thought, I think, is accurate. Now, so my first thought was, okay, well, I've got to traverse this box. Now, the thing is, I don't know how I could do all sorts of weird and wonderful ways of traversing the box. But I do have to get from these cells here to these cells. I've got to cross box 2. And to do that, I'm going to take 3 cells, aren't I? I don't know which 3 cells, and it might be more than 3 cells, but I must take 3 cells. So there is at least a 3-cell segment passing through this box, this box, this box, and this box. And so let's just imagine it was the simplest possible way of traversing. Because the point I wanted to make, which has been hard to make, but I think I'm finally there, I think it's finally logical for me to say, okay, now these segments, these 3-cell segments, which might be longer than 3 cells, but let's assume they're the minimum. You can't get from here to here with 2 cells of box 2. It's impossible. So we're looking at 3-cell segments. Now I'm allowed 1 1. So I'll put a 1 there. Now this segment can't have a 1. Neither can that, neither can that. I'm allowed 2 2's. So I could go 2's, 2's. That's it. So this segment, which I can't put 1's on and I can't put 2's on, is at least 3 4 5. I mean, it can't be in this instance because there's a 4 here. But in theory, at least, it's at least a 3 4 5, isn't it? And that's 12. Now that's interesting, because that's going to now remove the ability of any of these, of any segment to be 1 cell large. Every segment of loop is at least 2 cells. So now, if we were to draw, if I just draw something very straightforward like this, whoopsie, like that. Oops, I want to just draw that. That's what I wanted to draw, because that is the new minimum size of the loop. So firstly I thought it could be 16, then realised it couldn't because that would be too big. Now, having proved, and I think I have proved, that every segment in this puzzle adds up to at least 12, I need 2 cells at least in these boxes. I can't just nip in and pinch that cell and then go straight into box 2, because I can't write 12 into this cell. So I need at least 2 cells in boxes 1, 3, 7 and 9. And now the size of my loop is 20, I think. 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 2 is 8, so 20. So 20 is the minimum size of the loop we're drawing, but 23 is the maximum size. So I still don't know what the loop looks like. Sorry, hang on, let me just think about this. So what on earth am I meant to do now? Draw a closed loop. Moves diagonally. Passes through all the boxes. Digit 1 can appear once. So if the digit 1 did appear on a 2, well, it couldn't appear on a 2-cell segment. So if the digit 1 appeared in boxes 1, 3, 7 or 9 on the segment, then that would mean that that segment would have to be at least 3 cells, which would put the minimum size of the loop up by 1. So maybe now, can I now conclude that I can't go in and out of boxes? I'm not sure. It feels like it would be too much to ask. So let's just think about that. So we know that the minimum is 20. So if I come in there, no, I'd have to do something like that. Oh, it's tricky actually, isn't it? I'd have to do... That's the best I could do. If I'm thinking now, can I rule out revisiting a box? And I think I can, because that's going to add 4 at least to the minimum length of the loop, isn't it? I think that I've drawn there has added 5 to the minimum length of the loop. Because I used to traverse boxes 2 and 3 with just 5 loop cells. And now I've got 6, 7, 8, I've got 10 loop cells. But because every time I re-enter a box, I need to spend at least 2 cells worth of time in there in order to accumulate the at least 12 I need on the segment. So I can believe... Yeah, so even if there was a way somehow of doing this more efficiently, this in and outing, I would add at least 4, wouldn't I, to the minimum length of the loop. If I revisit a box, because I'm going to spend 2 extra in the revisit and then 2 extra on the exit as well, and I know 23 is the maximum length of the loop. So 20, and so if I add 4 cells to that, 4 cells to my minimum, which is 20, I get 24. That's too many. So right. So now I'm now in a position, I think, to argue that the loop is something like this. It's not going to be this, I don't think, but it's not revisiting. We're not revisiting boxes anymore. So that's a win. The digit in the circle appears on the loop twice, and every other digit that appears anywhere on the loop appears that many times on the loop. I don't know. So what do we do? Do we have to think about whether 9? But the thing is, that's not easy to do, because you can't just say. You see, 9 could be on the loop. Well, 9 could be on the loop, but only There's so many things going on in my head here. 9 can't be on the loop as a counting digit, because there is a 9 in box 5 somewhere, and therefore if I put 9 there, say, there would have to be 9 9s on this loop, and there can't be. Unless, well, but this is why it's complicated. What if that's a 9? You see, if that's a 9, that says there are 2 9s on the loop. So there are 2 9s on the loop. But there aren't 9 9s, but there could be 2 9s. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how to think about this. This digit is under a bit of pressure from a Sudoku perspective. It can't be 1, 2, 3, 6, or 8. So it's 4, 5, 7, or 9. I mean, it's an appalling pencil mark, but I'm trying to get a handle on how to think about this loop. Well, it is a mysterious loop. You don't know. You know so little about it. I mean, I will say, this is an astonishing idea, because it doesn't seem like there's even remotely enough to actually know what the loop looks like. Not just the digits on it, but exactly what it looks like. How on earth did this... It just feels... It feels like some puzzles we get where you just think it's ridiculous that the constructor could never have had the idea, because it's so ludicrous to think it could exist. There's 1 1 on the loop. So 1 is like a counting digit in the sense that there's 1 1 on the loop, and 1 is the number 1. If you'll allow me to get away with that sentence. If there's a 2 on the loop, yeah, then there are 2 2s on the loop. If there's a 3 on the loop, there are 3 3s on the loop, because they can't be the middle digit. Or is it maths now? Because I know, okay, I think I'm finally comfortable with the fact that there are 8 segments. So because we're not revisiting boxes, there are 8 segments, and we know that. So if this segment adds to x, that segment adds to x, that's adding to x, etc. So the whole loop adds to 8x, and we know x is at least 12 from my 3, 4, 5 example. So the whole loop adds up to at least 96. And whatever it adds up to must be divisible by 8. I'm being dumb here. I'm not thinking this through clearly at all. My brain's just shrieking at me. Nah, this is too difficult. There's too many degrees of freedom. How on earth do I get a grip on this? Because I mean, if you knew it was 20 cells long, could you even do it then? If you knew that, in fact, if you knew this was the shape of the loop, what would then we know? So let's say that this is the loop. What additional information would that bring to the table? We would know it's 20 cells long. So, but it's this silly digit here. This throws everything out. So let's just say that's 9. Then what we're saying is that there are 18 cells on the loop. that do obey the counting rule. And then 2 extra 9s that throw the counting rule out overall. But this digit it might not be 9, it might be 7. So if that's 7, then there would be 2 7s on the loop. And then the counting digits, again, are adding up to 18. But the thing is, we don't know it's 18. It's 18 on the hypothesis that the loop I've drawn is the loop, which is clearly very unlikely to be correct. But we do know that the overall loop is not bigger than 23. So taking off the 2 digits that are going to be commensurate with this digit on the loop, the maximum size of the counting cells that work is 21. So we're between 18 and 21 inclusive for doing the counting digits. Okay, alright, so but it's still true, isn't it, to say that 9 is impossible as a no, it's impossible as a counting digit. So whether we're heading for 18, 19, 20 or 21 from the counting digits, 9 is impossible. You can't put 9 9s on this loop. It's impossible, clearly, because there are only 9 9s in Sudoku, and the 9 in that box is definitely not on the loop by rule. So there are no 9s. No, that's wrong. There are no counting 9s on the loop. Now, if there's a counting 8 on the loop, all of the 8s have to be... there's going to be an 8 in that box that isn't on the loop. So all the other 8, so that 8 and that 8, so we'd have to adjust our loop. The loop would go there. And the loop would go there somehow. Let's try and make sure it doesn't go unnecessarily far. 4, 5. So it would take at least 5 cells of. So it would have no increase in length here, and it would have a small increase in length there, an increase of length 3. But that's okay, I think, because we've got, yes, it's just okay, because the way that my silly loop, my basic loop worked, I took 2 cells of loop in box 9. To get to that corner cell, I'm going to have to take 5 loop cells, aren't I, in this box, however I do it. Even with the availability of diagonaling, it's going to take me 3 steps to get here and then 2 to get out again. Yeah, so it's 5 steps of loop to get to this 8, but that's okay, because we were on the minimum of, well, the minimum loop we know is 20 cells, so now I'm at 23 cells, which I'm allowed. Now, the one thought that I'm having there, though, is that doesn't this get quite punchy now, in terms of the region sum? Because the region sum now would be at least 18, even if I populated these cells with 1, 2, 3 and 4, which is the least they could be. Yeah, so this doesn't work. It doesn't work because 18 is now the minimum region sum, and that means we can't get away with 2 cell segments in boxes 1, 3 and 7, because the only way of creating 18 in 2 Sudoku digits would be double 9, which is clearly not going to work within a box. So that is not right. So 8 is not, okay, so 8 is not, I can't get rid of it, hang on, I want to, there we go. So 8 is not a counting digit on this loop. So 7, what do we know about 7? We know nothing about 7. If 7 was a counting digit, there would be 7 sevens on the loop. Which, well, the loop only goes into 8 boxes, so almost, well, there's a 7 in this box, and then of the other 7s in the grid, all but 1 would be on the loop. Which, and then the other digits on the loop that counted either towards the 18, 19, 20 or 21 total would add up to between 11 and 14. Which there's nothing to do here. You can't do it. It's really, really hard. Sixes. I am seeing that the 6s are all in the perimeter of the grid. I don't know if that's enough to break it though. 6, if we have to go for the perimeter, you're increasing. No, that's okay. All right, now that is the first moment in solving this puzzle where I've noticed something that's made me suspicious. What I am seeing is that if I just double click the 6s for a moment, look at the position of the 6s in boxes 1, 3, 7 and 9. They're all on the perimeter. Now why is that interesting? Well, what it means is that to get to a 6, but do you have to though? That's perhaps the point. You don't have to. Ah, no, okay. No, I think I'm wrong. Bobbins. Well, you'd have to get to at least... You'd have to get to at least 2 of them, I think. Oh, hang on. Now, can we do Sudoku on 6s? I'm just noticing that I've got so many 6s in the grid. Let's just think about that. 6 in row... no, not quite. 6 in row 5 looked like it was going to be interesting. Sorry, okay, I'm talking at cross purposes. So one thing I was considering is this. If there are 6 6s on the loop, how do we achieve that? And the answer is in the box. Well, we can't get 6 6s from just boxes 2, 4, 6 and 8. We could get 4 6s that way. So we're going to have to take... Oh, but this still breaks. Oh, thank goodness. Right, this is okay. This is okay. Yeah, because I still have to take 2 6s from these perimeter cells. At least, in order to get... I mean, that's assuming I get a 6 from one of those, a 6 from one of those, that's 6, and these 6s. I'd still only be on 4 6s, so I have to get 2 6s out of these 4 6s in the perimeter. But the point here, I think, is that in order to do that, how do I get to this? What's the shortest loop segment I can make that gets me from box 4 to box 2 that picks this cell up? It's going to be 4 cells, isn't it? There's no way you can do it in less. And the reason I've suddenly got excited about that is I've realised that that has changed the minimum length of loop segment going through box 1, or whichever the box is that we're picking up the perimeter 6 from 2 to 4. Now that's an increase of 2, but that we have to do that twice. So that is lengthening the loop by 4 overall, which we cannot do. Because remember, we've worked out this minimum loop that I've drawn, which is 20 cells. We can't increase it by 4 because that would take us to 24 overall, and it's only 23 cells for our loop. So 6 is not It's not possible. Actually, I'm not going to get rid of the pencil marks. But it's not possible for 6 to be on the loop. So does that mean that 7 does have to be on the loop? Because if 7... Yeah, 7 has to be on the loop. It does. Because if 7 is not on the loop, the only digits then I've got that I can put on the loop that are doing the counting job are 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s and 5s. Now the triangular number for 5 is 15. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 15. It's not nearly enough to get to 18, 19, 20 or 21. So 7 is on the loop as a counting digit, so it's not in the middle. It can't be in the middle, because then it would only appear on the loop twice, and we'd never get the digits that could go on the loop to add up to at least 18. So now we can get somewhere, can't we? Because there's no, so 22. Hang on. So I'm just going to do this in aid memoir. I know that 7 is on the loop. Actually, I know 1 is on the loop. I know 1 is on the loop from the instructions. So I'm treating it like a counting digit, if you like. So I've got 8. I need at least 10 more, which could be 2, 3, 5. Yes, so 5 is on the loop. And the way I'm seeing that is if 5 was not a counting digit on the loop, then 2, 3 and 4 would be the most I could take, and 2, 3 and 4 plus 1 plus 7 is 17, and that doesn't create a long enough loop. Even once I add on whatever this digit is, which appears on the loop twice, we'd be on a length 19 loop. We can't have a length 19 loop. Let's revisit why that's true to try and crystallize it in my brain. It's because I need 3, 3, 3, 3 and at least 2, because we know that the minimum count for the region sum is 12. Wow. So this means, well, this means 2 things. It means the middle digit is not 5 because 5 is counting. That 5 moves there. And now we're at a count of 13 on the loop. We've got to get to at least 18. So that's very easy to do. And that's 9 overall. It's not all of those though, is it? Because if it was 2, 3 and 4 on the loop, all counting, then we would be on 22 plus 2 of whatever the digit would, well, if 4 was on the loop counting, this would be a 9, and we'd have 2 9s plus 22 other digits. That's 24, which is too long for the loop. So it's a subset of these, but it's a subset that gets us to at least 18. But it doesn't have to have the 4, does it? Because it doesn't. It just doesn't. So, yeah, because 2, 3 by the reason it doesn't have to have the 4 is 2, 3 gets us to the 18 minimum that we need. Right, 3 is on the loop. Okay, that's the first intelligent thing I've done in this puzzle. That is true. And the reason I'm seeing that is that I need a division. I need a dividing by 8 total, don't I? So I need an even... The digits on this loop add up to an even number. Whatever this middle digit is, there are 2 of it on the loop. So its contribution to the loop is even, because it's 2 times whatever this digit is. Now, at the moment, I've got an odd number of odd digits on the loop. I've got 7 7s, 5 5s, and a 1. An odd number of odd digits sums to an odd number. That is no use to man nor beast. So I must have another odd set of odd numbers on the loop in order to get myself back to an overall even total. So 3 is on the loop. That's the only way we can do it. and get to an even total overall. So we're now on 1357 on the loop. I mean, it's not both of 2 and 4, is it? How could 2 not be on the loop? 2's definitely going to be on the loop. So if this was 4, then what would we be on? I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to have to do the maths, aren't I, on this? If this was 4, 1357 is 16 plus 4. So 20. So the loop would be 22 long. That's okay. That's okay. But the digits on the loop would be, yeah. So it's going to be 7 sets. So it's the squares of all these, isn't it? It's the sum of the squares of those digits. So we've got 49 plus 25. That's 74 plus 10, because 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10, so 84. 84 is not divisible by 8. Okay, so 84, if I've got 4 4s on it as well. 84 is divisible by 4. Right, this is beautiful. 4 is wrong. 4 is not a counting digit on the loop. Because the reason I'm seeing that is that 84 is not divisible by 8, but it is divisible by 4. And I know that because this loop is divisible by 8 overall, it's also divisible by 4. So how do we preserve 4 times? If I put the 4 here, I'm adding a divisible by 4 number to 84, so we're still on a divisible by 4 total. In fact, we're on 100, aren't we? Because we're adding 16. But then, if 4 is a counting digit, 4 is not in the middle anymore, so the middle would become a 9. And that means there's 2 9s on the loop. That's 18. 18 is not divisible by 4. So the overall total for the loop would be 118, and that can't be right. It's not divisible by 8. And it's not divisible by 4 either. So 4 is not... I don't know whether that means 4 has to be here, but it does mean, I think, that 2 has to be here as a counting digit, because if it isn't, we haven't got enough counting digits, have we? 60, yeah. If this 2 is not counting, the counting digits on the loop are 1, 3, 5 and 7, plus the repeated middle digit, and that's 18 digits overall, and this loop is at least 20 overall. So 2 is in there. Okay, which takes me up to 84 plus 4, which is... Oh, so now I am on 88, which is divisible by 8. Oh, yeah, this is beautiful. It's beautiful, because now... Yeah, this is a 4. I'm on 88, which is a lovely total, given I know that the region sums, there are 8 of them. So it looks great. 88 is divisible by 8. And all we need now is whatever adulteration is done to the loop by this digit being repeated twice on the loop to preserve the divisibility by 8. We know that double 9 won't preserve it, but double 4 will, because that adds up to 8. And in fact, if we put so this is 4. Now we're on 96. 96 divided by 8 is 12. So we are at the minimum. We are at the minimum that I worked out earlier, which was 345. But I don't know whether we have a 345. But I sort of want to say we must have, but that might be wrong. So don't take I'm not saying that as a logical deduction. I just feel like it might be true. Now, so now we know that these digits in the perimeter are 7 sevens, 5 fives, 3 threes, 2 twos, a 1, and 2 fours. And they're allocated. Don't forget, this loop is almost certainly wrong, but they are allocated. Well, is it wrong? Maybe this is the loop. Because what we've now deduced is that the loop is 20 cells long. No, it doesn't have to be this shape. It might end up being this shape, though. Because the loop is 20 cells long, we are only spending... Oh, yes, now I can see it doesn't have to be a diagonal. It could be that, couldn't it? Because it can go diagonally. Yeah, okay. It would be quite funny if it is this shape, but I don't think it has to be. But what we do know is that it is spending 2 units in boxes 1, 3, 7 and 9. i.e. it's spending 2 cells only, because it needs 3 cells to cross boxes 2, 4, 6 and 8. And we've only got a 20 cell loop, so we're only spending 2 cells. And that's interesting, because that means we know what digits are on the loop in boxes 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. They are 5 and 7. And the reason we know that is we're only playing with these digits plus 2 fours. So we're allowed 2 digits and we've got to get to a region sum of 12. The only way of doing it is if we use the 7 and a 5. So if this was the loop, we'd have 7 5 pairs all around here. Yeah, okay, so of the 7 sevens we're putting on the loop, 4 of the 7s are used up in boxes 1, 3, 7 and 9. So I've still got to put 3 more 7s on the loop in these boxes. So they are going to work by having a 7 and then 2 digits that add up to 5, which is going to be 1 1 4 pair and 2 2 3 pairs. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we can't put 7 5 0 on a 3 cell segment. So let's imagine this was a 3 cell segment that we were putting a 7 on. Then it's 2 more digits that add up to 5, so we can't have another. So it's going to be 7 plus 1 4, which could only appear once because there's only 1 1 in the puzzle. And then the only way that the other 2 7s can work in these boxes is going to be with 2 3 pairs, but there can only be 2 of those because there's only 2 2s in the puzzle. So it's going to be 7 2 3, 7 2 3, 7 1 4, and then the one that doesn't have 7 on it is going to have 5 on it. Yes, it is going to be 3 4 5. So 3 4 5 they're the digits left over that we've not used. So there is a 3 4 5. Sorry if you've all known that for ages. I didn't know it. There is a 3 4 5 3 cell segment in this puzzle, and it's either here, here, or here, or here. Right, okay, here is a thought. If I am traversing box 1 with a 2 cell segment, am I going into any of those cells? No. I'm not even going into that one. Yeah, this is good. Right, what that means is that in this box, the 5 and the 7, which I know are on the segment, the loop segment that goes through this box, are in those 3 cells. And that's going to be the same in all of those boxes. And that's exciting. You never want to bump into me at a party. The reason it's exciting is where are 5 and 7 now? In this box. There is the answer. Because in this column, these are not 5 and 7, and these are not 5 and 7, because the 5s and 7s lives in the blue cells, so that's 5 and 7. This is 5 and 7. These are 5 and 7. Oh, I'm going to have to get rid of my aide memoir now. So these are 5 and 7. I think I'm going to get rid of my loop. I'm fixating too much on its shape, and I think I'm likely to assume something that I'm not entitled to assume. So just to recapitulate what we already know, we know that there are 2 cell segments in these boxes and 3 cell segments in these boxes, but we don't know how they look. They could be very strange, but they are going to have to be efficient. In the sense we can't have like a U pentomino. It's going to take 3 cells, but they can move diagonally. So how do we think about this then? This one can't be 7, 2. Actually, neither of those can be 7, 2, 3. Hang on, didn't I? Right. Yeah, so we need to be efficient, is something I just said. So, okay, so I don't know where 7 is in this box. It's in one of those squares. Yeah, the point is that I don't think a 3-cell... Well, I think clearly a 3-cell segment involving one of those 2 squares cannot involve that 2. It's impossible. So this is not a box that contains a 7, 2, 3 segment. But neither is this box, because I don't know where... Here I know even less about where the 7 is, but it's so far away from the 3. I can't get there without making it a 4-cell segment. So I think what that means is I do know in this puzzle I have got 2 segments, which are 7, 2, 3, and they are therefore in this box and this box. So that 3 is on the loop. There, that's an absolutely lovely thing to know, isn't it? But yeah, so that is a 4. that is, I think, loop. The reason I think that's true is I have to traverse this box in 3 segments. I'm convinced this has to be a 7, 2, 3 segment, so the 3 is on the loop. The 3 can't go there because this is a 2-cell segment we've only got to spend to get through here. So I've got to go here. That's 5 or 7. One of these is 5 or 7. Now, if that's the 7, that's a 2. If that's the 7, that's the 2. Right, so there's a 2 in one of those squares. And that tells us nothing about which one of these, well, which one of those 2 squares is the 5 or the 7, I don't think. Okay, but it's true up here as well, isn't it? It's the same point. So 7... Oh, well, it's the same point, but it's far more complicated. Because we could traverse this box with something horrible like that. A sort of Mount Everest type shape. And the reason that's horrible is... Well, it's not that it's very horrible, but that would be a 7 and this would be a 2-3 pair. But it means I can't pencil mark anything in this box. I don't have a clue how the mysterious loop mysteriously loops its way through the box. Okay, so Okay, right. Got something else then. Okay, I'm going to look instead at boxes 4 and 6 again, where we have worked out that one of the boxes contains a 714 segment, which looks lovely. It looks like it could be here. It's not. The reason it's not is that the final segment that we know we have to put in the puzzle is a 3-cell segment, which is 345. It's the segment that doesn't contain the 7. Now that segment has got the 4 on it, because there are 2 4s on the loop. It's got the 5 on it that we haven't used in the blue cells. And the only other digit remaining is the extra 3 that we haven't used in these 2 boxes, where we used 2 2s, but we only used 2 3s, so there's a third 3 to find. So we need to be able to trace a 345 segment through a box. Well, specifically that box or that box. The 3 and the 5 are not in the right place here. You can't do it. So this has to be 741. Yeah, there you go. Right. So in this row there is a 7, 4 or a 1 on the loop. Well, it's not a 4 or a 1 by Sudoku, so it's a 7. That's a 7. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is as clever a thing as I have ever solved on the channel, and that is quite high praise. Right, so I don't know what that means. I don't know whether I know that the 1's and the the 4 must be in those. So the 1 must be in those. Right, so there's a 1 in one of those by Sudoku. This is on the right. This is on the loop. This is on the loop, and it's got to go there because we've only got 2 cells of loop in this box. So this, well, actually there was a rule that said that adjacent digits on the loop are different. So this is a 5. So there is a 7 in one of those squares, which means there's a 7 in one of the... But doesn't that have to be the 7? I know there's a 5-7 pair in here in the blue. So that's the 7. That's the 7. Oh, this is so clever. Look, it's just filling in. I don't have to do anything. Now I know how the loop moves through this thing. So, and oh, look, 5 here. That must be the 5. That must be... So they do go diagonally. So am I... Oh no, I'm not. I wondered then whether I was going to get my basic loop, but I'm not, because I'm not going through this box like that. I have gone here. But I've now got this. Whoopsie. I can get rid of my superfluous blue cells now. In fact, maybe I just get rid of all the blue cells. We don't need them anymore. Do we get anything else from this? Hang on. 5 is interesting in the middle box, I think. Yeah, this gets me a 5. So, where is 5 in box 6? And the answer is, I don't know. It's in one of those 2 squares. It's also in those 2 squares. So where is 5 in row 4? Not there, not there. One of these 2. Where is 5 in box 8? One of these 2. So where is 5 in column 4? One of these 3. But it's not here and it's not here by Sudoku, so it is there. But, okay, that's... We know, yeah, but we know this is 7, 2, 3, don't we? So we, okay, this is still good. We know this is 7, 2, 3. We know this one is 7, 2, 3. This square can't be 3, can't be 7. So the one in the loop segment there is a 2. Oh, Bobbin's face, it doesn't do anything. Okay, sorry. Now. Okay. Now, what else did we work out? We worked out that this one, this is the 3, 4, 5 one. So this is on the loop. Yeah, that one couldn't be 3, 4, 5. This is 3, 4, 5. So this one goes there. The 3, where's the 3? It's not here. So this must be on the loop, which means that's the 5. because it can't be 7 if it's on the loop. So that's a 5. I think this has to be a 3 because we have to get out of the box like that. And that might be good. He says, desperately trying to see what that's doing. It's given me a 3 here with a 5. So that's a 3-5 pair. Now, what's this? This one's going into this box where it goes and finds 2s, 3s and 7s. 2. Oh, hang on. The 7 can't go to a 7 here. It would be adjacent on the loop to the same digit. So that's not 7. This must be 7. So, okay, so I need a 3, don't I? So there must be a 3 in one of these. And this can't be the 2 anymore because it couldn't go straight to there. So this is the 2. That's the 7. One of these is a 3. So we're moving like this. The 3 in the top box gets me a 3 here. That gets me a 5 here. That gets me 5. That gets me 7. 7 goes here in the middle box. That becomes a 6. That becomes a 6. Come on. Right, what are these squares? 2, 8, 9. 2, 8, 9. That's not 2. That's not 8. 2, 8, 9. 1, 4, 6 into the... This is 1 or 6 by Sudoku. 1, 4, 6. That's not 6. Oh, hang on. I've got a 1 pencil mark there. Is that real? Or is that nonsense? Because that looks like it will be massively important. Why have I got 1? Yeah, this one had to go 7, 1, 4, we worked out. Yeah, and the 4 can't, yeah, the 4 can't go there, so there's a 1 there. So this is 4, that's 6, that's 1. So this 4 is on the loop. Is that 7's on the loop, isn't it? And this one is, yeah, this is lovely. This is perfect because now I need a 2 to complete this. It's got to go there because we've got to connect in a 3-cell segment. Now I've got a 9 here, an 8 here, a 2 here. Come on, come on. That digit's a 1 by Sudoku, so I now know what those digits are. 3, 4, 9. Okay, I don't know the order, I don't think. Although presumably I do. I need a 3. Yeah, so the 3 has to be in one of those. So that's 4 or 9. 3, 4, 9. 1, 8 down here. 4, 4, 9 into those squares. No, it's not resolving. Come on. What about those digits? 6, 8, 9. 6 goes here. Sorry, that's been available for ages, has it? This is an 8, 9 pair. Right, 1, 2, 4. This is a 4 naked single. In this column is where I'm looking, so that's not 4. Chocolate teapotted on pancake day. 1. Okay, 2 and 1 we can place in this column. So 2 is in one of 2 places. 1 is useful. Does me a 1. Does me an 8. Doesn't apparently resolve the 8 in this box. But what about this row? 3, 4, 9. Look at this square. So 3. C's 4 and 9. So, oh, nearly. There's a 3, possibility of a 3 in the corner. This digit is 4 or 9. Oh, this is genuinely very exciting for me. 1, 8, 9. This is 1 or 8. That's 1 or 9. 1 or 9 didn't work. Okay. So what about this then? 2, 8, 9 is it? So that's 2 or 8. 2, 8, 9. So, oh, I see. Oh, yes, this digit. Yes, this digit is a 1, 2 or an 8 by Sudoku, but it's not 1 or 2, it's 8. So this is 2, this is 1, this is 9, this is something, 8. 8, 9. This is, no, 3 or 9. But now, okay, now we know how the loop moves through this box, because we know it must go 7, 1, 4. All I need now is inspiration. Look, 4, 4, 9. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1 goes here. 9, 2. I really hope that this is right. 1, 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, 2, 4. Still seems to be. It's resisting. It's resisting. 4, 9. Yes, I can do that if I make use of the black digit that I was given earlier. That's now a 3. So this is 9. That's going to do my chocolate teapot. No 3 in the corner. 4, 2. But the Sudoku might be coming together. 3, yes, 3, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. 9, 8. And all I've got to do is do the... Is that how it moves? I don't know. Let me just think this through. I mean, let's just pause for a moment. I really hope this is right. If it's right, this is one of the most extraordinary puzzles because it's totally doable logically. It's just lunacy. It's lunacy that this exists. 3, 7, 2, 3, 7, 5, 7, 1, 4. I think it's right. Boom! Boom! What a puzzle that is. Very few solves. Wow. Wow. That has blown me away. What a puzzle. I mean, that's... How long has that taken me? An hour and 12 minutes. Wow. I mean, I don't really know what to say. I mean, the rule set is so... Well, I didn't realise, actually, when I read the rules before I turned on the webcam, I sort of thought, oh, yeah, okay, counting. But when you actually start to think about the number of options, you don't even know that it's a loop round the middle. I mean, the fact that you can move diagonally is very, very daunting as well. And yet you can work it out. How on earth did you set this? It's total and utter genius, Die Hard. Total genius, that puzzle is. It's a world-class puzzle. Oh, and it's not only every day we do a world-class puzzle on this channel, but that is above and beyond. Yeah, by the end of the year, that will be maybe puzzle of the year, and it will definitely be in the top half dozen. Definitely. You just do not come across puzzles like that every day, or even every week, or even every month. That is extraordinary, and I loved it, and I am very relieved to have solved it. And now I'm going to go and have a pancake. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.